thumbs up. Everybody ready? All right. Thank everybody for being here. I want to begin by thanking the media for the assistance that y'all gave us last week. Part of this operation was 2 very high-profile arrests that was publicized, but you cooperated with us and you didn't put out information that those arrests were related to this undercover operation that we had going on, which resulted in us being able to continue this operation, and it wasn't jeopardized. So I know sometimes the media gets a hard rap and that you don't cooperate with law enforcement, but you did in this case, so thank y'all very much for doing that. Probably about a year ago, stood at a similar press conference, and we talked about an undercover operation that we had, and we talked about the monsters that live amongst us that prey on our children. Well, we're here today talking about those monsters again. Unfortunately, some of them we work with, like a deputy sheriff at the Richland County Sheriff's Department. Some of them we go to church with. But we've got monsters that live in our community, and they prey on our children. And our job is to protect our children. So this operation was called Relentless Guardian. And if you ask why it was called that, we are relentless. Everybody up here is very relentless in our efforts to make sure that we protect our children and that we fight human trafficking and sex trafficking. And we're the guardians. That's our job, to go out here and protect our kids and protect our adults too that are being trafficked. So Operation Relentless Guardian started. It was a 5-day operation. What you see behind me or standing beside me are the workers. These are the investigators. You got 2 sheriffs, the attorney general, myself are standing here. We don't do this work. It's these investigators. It's these officers. These are the people who are out here that are on the computer, that are making the arrests. They are the ones that's talking to these monsters. They're the ones that are getting them to travel. And those who travel, they're called travelers because they will travel. They will travel a long distance to have sex with a young girl. And so this operation started 5 days long, where we were in chat rooms, various sites. We communicated with these travelers. They sent nude pictures. They solicited sex from a 15-year-old girl. They did everything that what you would think a monster would be, going after our children. Over 5 days, we had 14 of these travelers that communicated with undercover officers. 5 of them actually traveled here, where they were immediately arrested, 1 from Florida, 1 from Georgia. The other ones that we communicated with, the other 9, we're having warrants on them, and we will be traveling and we'll be locking them up. They're going to go to jail too for what they were able to do over the computer. One of them was a deputy for Richland County Sheriff's Department. Vanden was a deputy who was working on duty in my car, in my uniform, citizens of Richland County, and he was communicating to have sex with a 15-year-old. And we arrested him. Of course, he was immediately fired. But that's something to make you sick to your stomach. That was something that made me sick to my stomach, to know that one of my deputies that I trusted and that we put out here in this community was one of these monsters, was out here trying to have sex with a 15-year-old. I've been frustrated a few times in my career as sheriff and law enforcement, and this is probably one of the most frustrating occasions I think I've had. One of the most disgusting things that I've been having to deal with is have a deputy do something like this. So that was one of the arrests we had. We had another one, Bobby Harrelson, who's a minor. We had Mark Lovett, who traveled 7 hours from Florida, 472 miles, to meet with an undercover female. He also admitted to talking to 4 to 5 females a day, doing the same thing that we arrested him for. Had one traveled all the way from Georgia also, and he was arrested. In addition to the monsters who are preying on our children, we also have those in our community who engage in promoting human trafficking, sex trafficking, and that's the Johns. That's the men out here who are soliciting women for sex that goes on websites and chat rooms, and they make the deals and they come. Well, we also did an undercover operation with them at the same time. We arrested 14 of those. which included John Hardy, who's a former South Carolina Department of Transportation Commissioner, who the day before had been sentenced to federal probation and house arrest. He communicated with our undercover about where to come. He came to us. We did not go to him. He communicated that he wanted to come to us and that he was going to have sex and what it was for and the amount. And when he arrived at the house, he was arrested. American Airlines pilot who was due to fly out the next day. Dwayne Wright, who previously this year in February we arrested for the exact same thing, for prostitution. Tremaine Cash, who was a fugitive from justice from New York for bringing contraband into prison. And David Clarkson, who when the officers tried to arrest him, he tried to run over 4 of our officers. He's also charged with attempted murder 4 different times. You know, we talked about it previously. We're going to talk about it. Parents, you have to know what your children are doing. You can't allow them just to go online and go to websites, go to chat rooms, and ignore them. That computer, that phone that they have is not something that's a distraction that they can go do for you could have your free time. You have to be a parent. You have to monitor your children and what they're doing. This happens every day. Every day, these monsters are out here reaching out to our young kids, particularly our young females, and a lot of times it don't turn out very well. They get sexually assaulted, some of them get murdered, some of them get kidnapped. There's all kinds of crimes that happen every single day in America because we as parents don't pay attention to what our children are doing. Pay attention to what they're doing. We can stop this. We're going to do our part. You know, the guardians up here are going to do our part. We're going to be relentless in that. We're going to go after them. We're going to have these undercover operations. We're going to get them. We're going to arrest them. Parents, you got to be part of it too. Adults have got to be part of the solution to this. We can't allow this to continue to go on in our community, and we have to go after these monsters. Attorney General Alan Wilson's got a few comments he'd also like to make.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff Lott. And I want to thank all the men and women who are standing up here with us today, and as well as the agencies and the people that they represent from those law enforcement agencies at the local, county, municipal, state, federal level. I want to say that the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force has exploded in the last 8-9 years. In 2011, when I took office, we had 44 law enforcement agencies that were part of this Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Now we have 113 law enforcement agencies in all 46 counties working together, collaborating to go out there and pursue the kinds of people that would engage in this type of conduct. I was just learning on the way over here that I believe that this sting operation puts our ICAC task force at over 1,000 arrests since 2010. I think we were in the mid 990 range, and since early July, this would put us probably around 1,000 or just over 1,000 arrests as it relates to the child predator ICAC task force mission. I also want to say that one of the things that I'm incredibly proud of is the collaborative working relationship that we have with these law enforcement agencies up here. Sheriff Lott's been a member of this task force for many years, and one of the things that it makes it so much easier. The internet is like the new wild, wild west. It's the new frontier. And this is the new generation of law enforcement officers who are out there on that new frontier chasing down these types of predators, whether it's a person who's seeking to have sex with an underage child or who's peddling child pornography and photos with whom they believe to be underage children, or a person who's traveling to have sex with an adult prostitute. This is what I like to tell people. Some people would make the argument these are victimless crimes. If I'm just trading pictures, I'm not hurting anybody. If I'm going to enter into a transaction, a business transaction with someone for them to sell themselves, I'm not hurting anybody. But what people don't think about is that when you peddle child porn, when you promote photos, you're supporting and or creating the market for child porn, and you're creating the market for people to go out and try to solicit sex from children. When you travel and engage in prostitution, you're creating the market that human trafficking thrives in. And this is something that we have got to attack. It's a supply and demand issue. Obviously, you attack the supply, but there are times when you have to attack the demand. So for people out there who want to get on their personal computers at home And don't think they're hurting anyone by trading in child pornography photos or videos, or don't think they're hurting anyone by talking to underage children, or if you're just going to travel to meet another adult for a consensual liaison, then I'm here to tell you today that this is not a victimless crime, and the army of people you see standing up here today, and it's a lot bigger than this room can hold. They're out there patrolling the wild, wild west, the new frontier, and they're going to get you. And I can't be prouder of the support that the Office of the AG was able to lend to this. And I got some of my people here who were able to support everything from intelligence gathering to forensic interviews to post-arrest interviews to surveillance to legal support. And we are here to support the front line of law enforcement. And I want to thank each and every one of you and the people you represent who are in the trenches every single day. The Attorney General's office will always have your back. Sheriff, thank you again for your leadership on this, and look forward to continue working with you. One last statistic that I just learned literally this week is that in the last year, our forensic team in the ICAC task force has reviewed more than 1 million child pornography files from the cases that we've generated. More than 1 million on just a little over 100 cases. So that is a lot of child porn flooding the market to support and create the market for human trafficking as well as child abuse. So thank you so much for what y'all do, and look forward to continuing to work with you.
I'm the one up here talking, but I think it's significant that we recognize all the agencies that were involved in this. It just wasn't Richland County. Greenville County Sheriff's Office, Oriole County Sheriff's Office, Attorney General's Office, York County Sheriff's Office, Marion County Sheriff's Office, Bishopville Police Department, Orangeburg County Sheriff's Department. We have Sheriff Ravenel is here with us. Aiken County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Hunt's with us. Mount Pleasant Police Department, Secret Service, Homeland Security Investigation, and the Marshal Service. It took a team to be relentless and to be the guardians out here, and that's why this operation was successful. Questions?
Sheriff Lott, can you talk about, your release mentions these 14 travelers, but the boards here have 19 people on them. Can you talk about the difference in those numbers?
Okay, we only arrested 5 travelers who actually came. We have warrants on another 9. That's the pictures you see over there that don't have a face to it. We also arrested 14 Johns for prostitution.
In all of these cases, did they think they were communicating with an underage person, or did it also involve adults?
Some of them involved adults. Some of them that we arrested for prostitution or making arrangements to have sex with adults.
Can you provide that breakdown?
Yeah, we have that broke down for you in the press release.
And in terms of the underage, how young did they think the kids were?
15, I think that was.
It was 13
13,
and 14.
14, 15. Kids. That's what they were wanting to have sex with kids.
Sheriff Lott, how were you informed that one of your deputies was tied up with them?
Well, once he started communicating with the undercover, we were able to identify who it was very quickly. So I was notified, and we let it go right on through. We had to do a few other extra things since it was a deputy to make sure that he didn't know that there was an undercover sting, in which they were able to do. But he did what he did as far as getting arrested, and he was arrested. And I will tell you, he will be prosecuted to the fullest extent. There's not going to be any plea agreements or anything with that, and we've already notified the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy to make sure that he's not certified in this state as a police officer. Shouldn't be a cop anywhere, not just in this state, but anywhere.
You said you had to do some extra because he was a deputy. I'm sure people are going to want to know about that, because people are going to probably want to know if they allowed the operation to continue, that he wasn't sort of patrolling. What y'all do?
Well, we had a location that we were using, and we didn't want him to come to that location. And so we had arrangements to meet and do the deed somewhere else.
Sheriff, we talk a lot about, I know Wilson's talked a lot about human trafficking and the numbers we have in this state. Are these travelers often people who would participate in human trafficking as well as this child porn ring, that sort of thing?
Most of the travelers are only interested in children. So, it's kind of 2 different groups that you have there. I don't think rarely will you have someone who wants to have sex with an adult that's going to want to have sex with a 13-year-old. And most of the time, there's a little bit of distinction there. No, because I don't want people to go to them.
I guess it's easy to assume maybe were they social media? Can we say that? Chat rooms?
Yeah, social media, websites that can advertise prostitution on websites. And those who engage in that know where to go. And they go to it, and that's how they do it. Old days, you used to ride down Two Notch Road and flag down a prostitute on Two Notch Road. You don't do that anymore. Those days are over with. You use your phone or you use your computer. Social media is how you hook up and do it now.
In the Hardy case specifically, how old did he get?
It was an adult. It was an adult. But again, that is promoting sex trafficking, human trafficking. We see that. We know that it happens. Females are trafficked based on the sex. And these people out here, like John Hardy and the other 13 who are out here buying sex, they're promoting human trafficking. And that's why it's not, as Attorney General said, it's not a victimless crime. These women are trafficking. They're not doing it willingly. Okay. Oh, sorry.
You had talked about wanting to remove the markets for these kinds of people and victims. With the operations against minors, were you able to save any children or get children that were on these chat rooms or anything like that, save them from, since you were in the chat rooms, you knew who they were reaching out to?
That's kind of separate. We do that separate. This operation was focused on going after the travelers, the monsters, getting those. We have other operations where we go out and we try to rescue and save the kids that are being trafficked and the kids that get involved. I hope that we're saving kids by some parent hearing this press conference and knowing what we've got going on, that's going on out there. They'll get more involved with their children and maybe keep one from getting involved in this. These kids don't have an idea who they're talking with. Most of the time they think they're talking to someone that's their age, that's totally different. So you don't have any clue when you get in these chat rooms who you're really talking to. And these monsters found out who they were talking to. I don't see any 13 and 14-year-olds standing up here, but that's who they thought they were talking to. All right, thank y'all. Go ahead.
Just because school's starting, I wanted to make people aware that if you work in a school or you work in a church or you're just a parent who's interested and you want to learn about how to protect your children and to train your children and coach your children or even have your children come, we can do seminars. We have people who do nothing but this in our office. Our ICAC task force has an education component. So we travel the schools. We've done several hundred presentations last year to educate students as well as adults on how to be a good citizen of the internet and how to protect yourself and your loved ones and what to look for if you see someone who might be abused by these online predators. So contact our office if you want us to come do a presentation, and we can do it for any age group, including adults. So thank you.
Real quick, what advice would you give to parents that, the kids have the phone, they go to their friend's house playing a computer there, they're not with their kids all the time. What advice would you give them that, how can they monitor them?
So there are lots of applications that you can get downloaded on your children's phone that allow you to monitor all the texts coming and going, the emails coming and going, what websites they're going to. You can set the amount of time that your child has on their phone. I would also encourage parents, don't stop being a parent. It is so easy when you're on a long vacation, the kids are screaming in the back seat just to throw your phone at them and say, here, play on this so I can drive. I tell people, you need to have conversations with your kids. You need to have real conversations about the dangers out there. We would not let our children go around the world by themselves, but we will let them go around the World Wide Web by themselves. And I know it's not quite the same, but you need to have those conversations with your kids, and you need to be educated with the latest apps and technologies that are out there for tablets and smartphones as well as computers. You need, as a parent, to be at least, you want to be an expert, because your 10-year-old's always going to know more than you about the application they're on, or your 13-year-old, but you need to be aware of what they're on, and you can download applications that will track their travel habits.
Be a parent. Just don't be your child's best friend. Be a parent. There's a big difference. And and as Attorney General said, all the agencies represented up here, we do that too. We can go to schools, we go to churches. All you got to do is ask. There's help out there. So don't think that you're by yourself as a parent or a church or an organization. There's help out there that we can come and provide that education. Education is the key to success in anything, so let's get educated. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You did a great job. Sheriff, thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sheriff, good to see you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I think I'm back up on you. I'm sorry.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
Right now.
So
My kid through my senior year.